I've been dating my girlfriend for a little over a year and a half now. We're pretty serious at this point. We talk a lot about our future together, all the hopes that we have, and all the good things we have to look forward to. But it's also brought forth some issues I never knew I would have to face. She was born with a disability. That disability impacts many areas of her life, and because of that, if we do get married, there's a chance she could die as a result. Great steps have been taken in the last decade for marriage equality, but we still have some areas where we could see some improvement. Most people don't have to worry about their marriage causing themselves or their partner physical harm, but this unfortunately is not the case for many Americans with a disability. Because of how our system works right now, marriage isn't an option for many of these couples, simply because they are forced to choose between the health care they need to survive and marrying the one they love. Many people with disabilities are dependent upon SSI to meet their basic needs. SSI, or Supplemental Security Income, is a program run by the Social Security Administration to assist those with limited resources who are disabled and or elderly. Typically, these people are unable to work, and if they do, they're pretty heavily penalized for their benefit, often losing it entirely if they make too much money. SSI is different from the typical Social Security benefit most people earn by paying into the program through their paycheck, through their taxes. So SSI is what is known as a means-tested program. In simple terms, if you earn too much money, you no longer qualify. Unfortunately, the program's maximum benefit of around $750 is barely enough for most people to get by. Rent for a single-bedroom apartment here in Portland is right around $1,300 a month, so you can see there's quite a discrepancy there. Assuming you're not in subsidized housing, which a lot of people on SSI are, as well as food assistance and all that. If you're doing well enough outside of having all of that support to afford that, you're very quickly going to be ineligible for your SSI benefit. So because you qualify for SSI, most of the time you will qualify for Medicaid. A lot of the times, these people who are on these programs, they have a substantial disability that impacts their life heavily. A lot of them are dependent on advanced medical care, in-home care, advanced medical supplies, wheelchairs, stuff like that. Very expensive to finance on your own without the assistance of a health insurance plan. It's not uncommon for a lot of this to run into hundreds of thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands with a reasonable health insurance plan. So like again, unless you're in the 1% or very, very well off, it's a lot of the time it's just not an option. It's not viable. You can either stick with your health insurance or marry someone and hope you can somehow get by. Hope you can somehow get the care you need. So going back to income and employment, the cash benefit again isn't generally the most important part of this program for a lot of people. It's the health insurance part. So even if a person on this program were to seek employment, they very quickly, like I said, will become ineligible for the program and everything it offers, specifically the health insurance portion. I don't remember the exact math, but it comes down to something along the lines of for every $2 earned through employment or another source while on SSI, your benefit is cut by $1. And once your SSI benefit reaches $0, you're no longer eligible for anything on there. You lose everything. You lose the cash benefit and more importantly the health insurance benefit. Same thing as if they marry someone who is not an SSI beneficiary. That person's income affects their benefit in the same way. So very quickly, that benefit will go down to zero, especially with what it takes to get by in our current economy. So what I'm trying to get at with all this is that because of the way the system is set up, essentially someone who is on SSI really only has two options. Um, they can, stay single and still get their benefit, have their health insurance, and live as healthfully as they possibly can in their current situation, or they can take that big risk and find love, marry the person that they love. It's a choice between life and love, essentially, or life alone, or death with someone else, death with a partner. It's, of course, that's not always gonna be the case, but like for a lot of people, that's simply how it is, and that's the only option they have, is to not get married and have a family, and to do. Oh, cat, you fucked me up.
Sorry.
So essentially, their other option is to not get married and have a family, and do all the great things that makes a human life great and worth living. Unless they happen to marry somebody who is either very rich or very poor to the point where they won't lose their health insurance. So again, with that, there's no real middle ground. It's one extreme or the other. So like, I feel in America we should all have an equal shot at a fulfilling life, and the way the system is set up for many people born with a disability, that opportunity really is not there. It's not really fair that someone has to choose between healthcare and life, something they need to survive, and the right to marry. Even though there's no set legal barrier preventing marriage, the fact that it more often, frequently is a life or death decision for many is a barrier in and of itself. Should speak for itself. There's a reason people are on SSI in the first place. People who are dependent on that, who need the health care specifically, typically they're not going to get better. And expecting them to do so just because they're married doesn't really make sense. There needs to be some way that a person who needs those benefits can keep them and still get married without 100% of the burden falling on their partner. Normally, everyone else does that, but in situations like this, it's just not affordable. There needs to be an affordable alternative, because as it is right now, it's not affordable. It's not reasonable. Frankly, it's ridiculous that the government only views disabled people worthy of assistance when nobody loves them. Marriage should not disqualify a person from health benefits. Disabled people matter. Disabled people deserve to love and be loved. Disabled people deserve the opportunity to share their life with a partner without having to risk death to do so. Simply put, the choice between choosing to live and choosing marriage is not really a choice at all. And in that regard, there is not true marriage equality in that regard.